Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to what is yet another World GT Series broadcast. We are here at the infamous Silverstone circuit, infamous for providing fantastic racing, of course, and for being the round where our championship leader could wrap it up. I'm Joshua Anderson. I'm here as ever, going to be dragging you, kicking and screaming, if I must, through the hours worth of racing action. And we have a little treat for you today. We've got a triple threat of commentary because I'm joined by not one, but two commentators. I've got both Mr. Kacper Kolodziejczyk.
Well, hello.
And my normal mainstay, Mr. Nicolas Hillebrand.
Good evening, everyone.
So, welcome both to the booth, and of course, welcome to our fantastic cameraman, Mr. Menno Klont.
Hello, hello.
Yep, so we got 4 people doing the broadcast tonight. This is your first race on commentary for World GT, Kacper, after the, very successful Super League do you did the other day. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, it should be fairly interesting. Now I just need to get everything sorted and get to watching it. Yeah. Having a bit of technical difficulties on my side.
Yeah, that's all you have to do, realistically. Just get those technical issues sorted and all will be well. And speaking of getting things sorted, Kacper could sort the title tonight. As it stands, we are 1 minute and 45 to go in qualifying, and the Estonian has set a 1:57.854, looking to make it yet another pole position and yet another race win. Although realistically, looking at the standings, he's on 125 points to Thomas Jacobs, who's behind him in the standings, is 80. He's 45 points ahead of Jacobs. All we still need to do is, there's 45 points between them, so all we still need to do is make sure that gap is 25 or higher by the end of this race. Thomas Jacobs could outscore Risto by 20 points and it wouldn't be enough. If Thomas Jacobs were to win, Kacper would only need 11th or higher. That's how well off he is.
So basically, it looks like he just needs to finish the race, and considering how he's been going the entire season, that's not going to be very difficult for him. So it's just a matter of just a bit of luck, really.
Well, he'll want to win because he's won every single race this season so far, and he'll want to win what we know will be his last race in the season. So he wants to go out on an effective, perfect record, does Risto, and taking the title with him. And theoretically as well, Street Fighter Racing Systems could nab the title for the teams, as well as the title that they've surely already got for the drivers as well. And, well, Risto will want to go out with 6 wins from 6 races and 8 total from 8 total GT races. He'll want that as well. 45 points at stake maximum for Street Fighter Racing Systems. And they only need to score, if they're in first, TSA Racing are behind them on 41, behind at least, they're on 116 to Street Fighter's 157. They need to be 45 ahead by the end of this race. They only need to outscore TSA Racing by 4 points to take the team's title. That's all they need to do.
Therefore, this can be a pretty big race for both the team and the driver championship.
Indeed, it could be, as time has expired in the session. Those not on a lap won't be able to do one. Those on a lap will have to finish it. Kacper is certainly on a lap, as is Nico Barkley, as is Thomas Jacobs, the first of the TSA racing cars. And importantly for Bristol, Jacobs is P5 in qualifying at the moment to his P1. And Matthew Churgwin is P9. So 5th and 9th for the TSA boys, as opposed to 1st for Bristol, who's driving for Street Fighter. Do bear in mind, though, that we do have 2 Street Fighter cars. It's usually just been the Kacper show, but we have had in some races, but we have had other Street Fighter cars. We do have one in Philip Pushka, who's in P11 at the moment. He is there on the grid. Good to see you back, Philip. But it is a good chance, therefore, that they're going to take the drivers and team titles this race. Nicolas, you've been watching the season all season, or pretty much some of the season, at least when I drafted you in. So you've seen pretty much how Risto's dominated. And from your point of view, does it seem like he's going to win this as well?
By the form he shows in qualifying again, it's definitely likely that he's going to be a contender for the win. Though I wouldn't doubt, well, everything can go wrong, as we've seen from various examples already. Everything can happen in these races, especially since the Ferraris have a higher fuel consumption. And therefore they had to pit at races like Istanbul in the very last laps, which basically almost even challenged Risto's third win in the season. Almost. though. Anyway, now he has already 6 out of 6 pole positions, and he did do constant lap times, constantly improving as well. And I basically say that he's safe for the win, even though I wouldn't doubt the other drivers here.
You can never count out any driver really in those kinds of situations, but again, the big deal is Risto Kacper just wants to finish the race more than anything and just get that title in the bag.
Well, he does in a pole position here, which he has obtained, is more than certainly going to do it for him or help him. But was it really any surprise, to be honest, now at this point? It was a 1:57.298, 8/10 almost, quicker than Boy in Milan, on a 1:58.044 as we just go into warm-up now. But Risto, with that pole position, will be just looking to be a case of rinse, repeat, get pole, win the title, I'm out of here. And frankly, I don't blame him. He has been the star of this season.
I mean, that's exactly what you want to do as a driver. Come in, do your best, and if you do so well that you win every race, you definitely deserve a championship. So, at this rate...
Yeah, it may not have been the most interesting championship in that sense, but it's been a display of dominant driving and quality in the Estonian. That's what it's been.
Definitely, again, for us as people watching it at the moment, it may not have been the most exciting fight for the win in every race, but again, for a driver, from his perspective, it's definitely it's definitely a good thing in his eyes to win, to have this kind of dominant performances, and he just wants to finish it off now, as I said.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be the end goal for the Estonian, who we know loves winning so much. Of course, drives the Street Fighter, having driven for several. He drives for Vodball as well, and he has driven for Vodball in Super League. Drives the Street Fighter in Super Cup. Drove for, of course, we all know him best for his tenure at Walk Racing. But the most surprising thing, perhaps, about Risto Kacper is that he's never won a title here at GPVWC, despite all the work he did with Walk and the success he has. This could be his chance to rectify that.
Yeah, that's definitely a chance. I mean, it's not even a chance, it's a very likely possibility more than anything at this stage of the race, and pretty much be unfair on him not to win it. But anything can happen, it's racing, and we have 2 races to go, which we know that he will not race in the last one.
Yeah, we know Risto is not going to be present at the last race, unfortunately, second in the Americas, but we do know that it probably won't even matter if he can win the title here, but it will matter in terms of the Team's Championship if Street Fighter don't outscore TSA Racing by the necessary amounts.
While we're talking about the title fight here, let's have a look at the point standings after Brno. Risto Kacper, obviously, 5 wins in a row. Won every single race of the season. We can't stress that enough, to be honest. And at the moment, leading with 45 points over Thomas Jacobs, who has 80 points, who got 2 second places, one fourth, 1 third, and 1 5th place at Brno. Brno definitely didn't play out in his likes, and of course he's going to be trying to make up lots of time here and lots of points.
Yeah, he will, and another person we know is Carlos Andres Deans as well. A 3-race podium streak coming into this, having done 3 races in the series on 48 points. Not quite as impressive as Risto's 5 wins in a row, but extremely impressive nonetheless. The Peruvian will start P6, however, for Stax Racing, and that might not be as high up as he would have liked.
As a previous competitor in this series in 2 races, I have to say, the one person that I found to be in extremely good contention, at least at Istanbul, was Thomas Jacobs in his Corvette. He is absolutely incredibly quick in this car.
I think it would... I've always said Thomas Jacobs deserves a win in World GT. He did last year and he did this year. He was always up there or thereabouts. And I had him touted for the title, but unfortunately it didn't materialise. I don't know whether he won last year in World GT. I'll have to check that up. I'm fairly certain he should have, even if he didn't. But regardless, you know, it's a case of he's one of those drivers who's very consistent. He's like David Feidig in that respect. Quite consistent and rarely makes mistakes. You know, he's a very dependable driver.
Yes, and again, he seems to be able to make a lot more of this car than anyone else on the grid, considering the next Corvette, I think, is 10th with his teammate, Matthew Turwin.
I mean, these results now. Of course, Kacper was supposed to return to the season this year, but ultimately did not do so. So it's a shame we haven't had the reigning champion with us yet this season. But nonetheless, he did win for Scuderia Basilea last year, and it was part of a coup that he was supposed to be joining Street Fighter, but that never materialised, of course. Looking through the results last year, Thomas Jacobs indeed did not win a single race, but he came close quite a couple of times. He never finished outside of the top 5. In the same sense, he's not finished outside of the top 5 this year.
Again, this is just consistency, and that's what can win you titles, even if you don't win races. But obviously, you still want those wins, and they provide the easiest way to do so, as proven by Risto Capit this season.
Yeah, Risto is just showing it's a case of just go out and do it. You know, he's one of those people who just has that talent. He's one like we like to call aliens in sim racing, but I know we're nearing the end of the season. A couple of people we'll get Nico and Kacper involved in this course. Just a couple of people for me personally who've been standout performers, and not necessarily just Carlos Andres Saltines either. If we look in the World GT standings, we will see that obviously looking at the standings, there's been a couple of standout competitors this year who've really shown their stuff in circumstances, you know, where they've really shown what they can do in R-Factor 2. And one of those for me has been Thomas Hinds. He's come out, he's not had the best of races all the time, but he's had a 5th and a 7th this year. He's on 25 points and 12th in the standings. He's really come into his own when it comes to R-Factor 2 this year. He's really finally showing his true potential.
I definitely agree. His control over the BMW is absolutely fantastic. I've had some battles with him in Istanbul, and the absolute outright speed he has in that car for being in a non-Ferrari, I just find to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and it's not just obviously Carlos and Thomas either. We've got other people looking down and through the field. We'll get Nico involved here. Is there anyone here for you who's been a standout performer this year?
Well, I would have to say, I would have to give Thomas Hinds a big shout out there as well, because he's finished in the points every single race except for Spa-Francorchamps, where he was involved in a very unfortunate accident in the very first lap at Eau Rouge, going up the hill. But otherwise, there's quite a lot of people actually who we've seen who not necessarily were always in the points, but who always were in battles involved, and who always provided us with good racing, I'd say. And to be honest, even though they were a bit further down, I have to give a shout out to Florian Engel and Christoph Lichtenstein as well, because they are the only ones driving this SRT Viper as well. And definitely they're doing a good job with it, and I think so far they've always finished the race, if I can just look back here, or very rarely didn't finish. And just kept on with their consistency, with their very own pace, didn't get irritated with just happening around them. Of course, they didn't do the first round at Fuji, because they got in later. But still, they tried to do their best, and I think that's basically showing us that racing isn't always just about winning.
Yeah, of course, Epic Racing were a later entry to the season, the only team to take the Viper, of course, and they have done quite well, all things considered. You know, big shout out to Epic for their, not necessarily epic points haul, but epic fortitude, it must be said, at least. Always keeping it there and thereabouts, always keeping on going. They don't give up, do they?
No, they don't. And I have to say, it's one of the probably my favorite liveries on the entire grid. It's lovely looking, and it's, I guess, a good way to commemorate the death of Viper. The death of the real life Viper, that is, of course, stopped being produced now. So that is one bit of a sad news story from real life.
Yeah, unfortunate that, of course. We just have 1 minute and 45 minutes to go in this warm-up session. Thomas Hinds leading at the moment on a 2-minute .004. Of course, we all know that the real winner who's fastest in warm-up. Yeah, but yeah, that's happening, and it feels like the beginning of the end, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. Again, it's, well, it just is still very close to the end of the season, and Yeah, it went by quite quickly. I remember the people still practicing for Fuji. I did a couple laps there as well, and now it's nearly over. It's quite crazy how quickly it goes by.
Yeah, it's like even with these 1 hour races and happening once a month, it doesn't feel like long since I started. Since I took my first lead commentary job on a World GT broadcast, and it's gone from there. It's obviously I'm very thankful for the opportunity to have it as well, and to preside over such good racing. Because we do get good racing in World GT, even if it's not necessarily battling. It's definitely a good display of how to do well.
Of driver skill.
Of driver skill, yeah. That's exactly what it is. It's a good display of who's who in the world of sim racing. It brings that out. And yeah, some could argue it's been boring and it's past its best, but I think this season, personally, yeah, it's not been the most exciting. It's still been a good season, though. It's still World GT is definitely, I think, worth continuing because it brings out the best in the drivers and in an endurance setting. I mean, maybe shorter races would be better because it would encourage sprint a bit more. But we're going to race in a moment, says race director Chris Williamson, just wishing everyone the best of luck, talent, take care, etc., etc. You giving them the usual good luck and good advice. Everyone wishing themselves good luck as well. And, well, Risto Kacper probably doesn't need luck, to be honest with you. He's that good. But he'll be hoping to take the title this race. Street Fighter will be hoping to take the title this race. And that would leave us with a final race where it's just really the rest of the grid that are fighting each other. And Risto doesn't have to worry. Well, because he won't be here for one, but he'll already secure the title and he'll be off.
Yeah, and they just off with completely free of worry mind and just enjoying himself, and for whatever reason he's not racing. So
well, he's off to do Estonian military service. So
yes.
Don't really think don't really know whether he'll be enjoying that as much as he might racing, but nonetheless, as we're about to go to the grid, he knows he will want to enjoy this potential championship win. He only has to finish a level behind to secure it, so the pressure really off the Estonian here. But don't think for a single minute that doesn't mean he's going to be going for the win. You can bet your bottom dollar he will be. That is just the sort of person Risto Kacper is. He loves winning, don't we all? But Risto more than others. He's used to winning. He wants to go out with a perfect record, and he looks dead set to do so. Because he's on pole position for this race as we head off. It is indeed Risto Kacper on pole for Street Fighter Racing Systems. He's followed by Boy Milan for ST Racing in the Ferrari. Then on row 2, it's Nico Barkley. And then Thomas Jacobs for Scuderia Basilia and TSA Racing, respectively. Tobias Olsen, P5 for RPM Racing. And it's Carlos Andres Ledin for P6's own Dax Racing Aston Martin. Keep an eye on Carlos. He could make it 4 podiums in a row if all goes his way. Daniel Benefield, P7 for TTF Racing. The Australian really coming good here in England and hopefully going to get a good result for the English team. Then it's Thomas Ince in P8 in the BMW for Cosmo Autosport. Then it's 9th for Matthew Churgwin in the other TSA Corvette. 10th is Niranjan Kumar. The Indian gets a great qualifying for Racing Team Shorten and wants to convert that into a healthy points position. Philip Pushka will start P11. The reigning Super League Drivers' Champion returns to World GT for Street Fighter Racing Systems. Then it's Jeffrey Fournier, P12 for the other Stax Aston Martin. 13th is Tommy Oyala for Ice Cold Racing in a season that the Swedish team or Norwegian team or Scandinavian team, because that's more vague, will probably want to forget. They haven't had the season they wanted, but Oyala 13th is still respectable. 14th is Mark Fuller for ST Racing, and then it's 15th, Philip Morby for YTF1. They've had an alright season, and they want more points to go with it. Rando Muru, 16th for Scuderia Basilia, and 17th is Brett Metcalf for TTF Racing and the other Corvettes. Jared van der Weide makes his World GT bow. Welcome to World GT, Jared. 18th for RPM Racing. Rory Collins, P19 for Racing Team Shorten. Then it's Florian Engel in the first of the 2 Epic Racing Vipers in 20th, and then it's David Yunt, who has actually not gone out in the pit lane for Mad Cape Racing in P21. Sharon van der Sloot will start P22 after getting back of the grid penalty for Simtech Racing, and it's Christoph Lichtenstein also with the back of the grid, rounding off the field effectively in P23.
So with that out of the way, we're coming close to the drivers are actually coming close to nearly finishing their formation lap. So that's pretty much perfect.
Yeah, Liechtenstein just coming down the hangar straight at the moment, coming into Stowe. That is still quite a way back, and Bristol Capital will have to wait a long time before those tyres stop cooling and he can start this race. He's coming round at a very moderate pace, so to speak, round club now, and he will park up in his grid box. But it's a long wait until Liechtenstein is just coming into a Vale now, actually comes around the corner and starts the starting procedure as the last car to park in his pit box. So my personal pick of the race, it would be daft not to say Risto Capet, so I'm going to say Risto Capet. Nico?
To be honest, for the win, I'd say Risto Capet, but for the rest of the podium, we had 2 or 3 races in a row where we had the exact same podium. 2 races, sorry. Turkey and Belgium.
Yep, here we go. Yep, we could have. We got 4 lights, 5 lights, 6-time asking this season here in Silverstone. Well,
let's go.
And off we go.
By the looks of it, from Mr. Capet, we got a bit of havoc at the back there. But Capet has not got the best start in the world, because look at that, Nico Barkley's chasing him. Good enough start from the Estonian, though, as he does hold the position. David Unico starting for the pit lane. He drops down the order. Barkley Capet on now, though. And there's the cars now file through into the village corner. We've got, look at this, we've got Barkley on the inside trying to have a go at Capet, but it's not working. It's look at this boy in Milan now on the outside of him. Tries to have a go at the Spaniard, can't do it. Thomas Jacobs gets a good start into P4, Olsen at P5, Ladines holds position in P6 further down the field. We've got the likes of Fournier and Pushka challenging for track position. Philip Morby having a go at Pushka. Look at this, Morby having a go at the reigning Super League Drivers Champion. Round the outside goes Morby, and he doesn't quite get it done. We got an off there in Tobias Olsen. He runs wide and has given up P8 to Jeffrey Fournier, who's on a charge.
On the other
attacking
hand,
Thomas Hinz, who's in P7. And this is a great start from the Aussies. He's having a stellar start. Let's hope he can keep it up. But back at the front, Bristol Capet has not pulled out the lead he won so far. He's not that far ahead of Barkley and Milan in the grand scheme of things. And it's not looking great for the Estonian.
I can tell you one driver that's also been on a bit of a charge for the last couple corners, and that's Matthew Turgwin. He already overtaken Mark Fuller, and he seems to be quite tightly behind Tommy Oyala. So, and right in front of them we have Morby and Pushka fighting it out as well. So
that was very close there. Almost Morby spinning Pushka off there.
Yeah, this is a big battle between Philip Morby and Philip Pushka. Battle of the Phillips here. One from Germany, one from England, and one driving for an Australian team, the other in English. So yeah, this could be a good one. Pushka, of course, we know as Morby goes down the inside almost, tries to have a go. Must say, Philip Morby is pulling no punches here. He's having a right crack at the reigning drivers' champion of Super League, as Niran Jan Kumar is holding his own from him as well. Philip Pushka, if he wants his P10, he's going to have to work for it.
In front of them we have Tobias Olsen and Thomas Hinz side by side. And
indeed, Risto Capet now leading by a second over Barkley, Milan, Jacobs, Benefield in the top 5 now as well. Great start from the Aussie, as we've got the likes of Hinz, who's dropped down to P9, Fournier up into P7. What a start from the Frenchman this has been. He's got multiple positions already and will be seeking out a top 5 potentially, and I wouldn't put it past him. He's shown his pace before and we all know he's got it.
What I'm finding interesting right now is that Milan may be trying to attack Barkley. They were already very close, and they're still nose to tail basically, and it still could be a very, very interesting battle for second place.
It could be, yeah. Boya is absolutely on the back of Nico here. This could be a battle for P2, but it's only going to help Bristol Capet pull away is the problem. So if I were Boya Milan, I'd probably try and work with Nico Barkley here to close up.
That would be a good idea, but I'm not sure if even them two not fighting will be able to catch up to Risto. But that's probably a valid tactic to try. But what Milan also has to worry about is Thomas Jacobs still right behind his rear wing, so that could also play into the into what the Spaniard is going to do.
I'll tell you this as well, who else has got worry? Daniel Benefield, he's got Carlos Anderson-Deans and Jeffrey Fournier and Tobias Olsen within arm's length of him. So the Stax duo and the RPM car all won P5. This is looking to be a good battle, isn't it, Nico?
Definitely, and Olsen and Jeffrey Fournier were able to get past Thomas Hinz starting their second lap, and now Olsen is definitely not going to trying to back out.
A super aggressive move here.
We just had Tommy Oyala and
trying to make up for a failure before.
now
And
tries
going to the
on
inside.
Oh,
But he'll be on the
Tobias
outside
Olsen,
now.
very brave here. He's not giving up on Fournier here. Rubbing his waist in contact. All sorts of malarkey going on here. That was very scary, but Olsen does not get the position done. And the Swede is going to have to push harder than that if he wants P7 as he almost rams the back of Fournier into turn 1 there. He's desperate for this position.
Very aggressive move there, but also very aggressive defending from Fournier there.
I tell you what this has done as well. It's thrown Thomas Hinton into the mix. And look at this now. There's a massive train behind Benefield all the way to all the way down. Look at this. It's a train all the way down to P23. That much of a... I mean, there's got a couple of linkages and breaks in it, but it's essentially one big train all the way down to 20th.
Well, somebody's having to hold up everyone else though, so
yeah.
it
Daniel
seems like...
looks to be the cork in the bottle here, but he's doing a great defensive driving job. But you've got Hinz who's dropping up a bit back, and then the rest of it, yeah, it is starting to spread out. But we had a train all the way to P22 for a minute there.
That's absolutely crazy.
You see, this is the sort of thing that World DC gives. People say it's boring, but it's not. It gives this sort of racing. It's not boring, is it?
No.
Certainly not boring for the likes of Tobias Olsen, who's still in P8 chasing down the Stacks cars. This is probably where we want to be right now, this battle, to be honest. So if we can keep an eye on Olsen in P8, that would be lovely.
But out in the front, what I'm seeing is Aristocap is not actually running away from Nico Barkley at all. They're still within 0.8 of a second of each other.
But he doesn't have to. He only has to finish 11th and he's won the championship. It's Jeffrey Fournier. Well, evidently no team orders going on at Stacks yet because the Fournier and the Deans are battling. Both the Stacks cars having a go at each other. Fournier tries to go through and his Peruvian teammate, but it doesn't quite work. And Fournier has now got to either get through or accept he's going to stay behind the Dean. Otherwise, it could go very badly wrong for the Stacks guys. But it's good when you see teammates racing from a commentary point of view, but not from a team manager point of view. It's Philip Morby pits.
What I'm finding interesting is how Tobias Olsen is very much waiting behind them and just waiting for a single mistake from them to just waiting to take that position as he goes a bit sideways out of the second corner.
And now looking for the outside in the arena here. And that was... Oh, he caught Fournier off guard. That's a clean overtake there. Fournier still trying to defend massively.
That was absolutely a beautiful move and very clean. There was some side-to-side touch, but...
Yeah, and it's put Thomas Hinz right behind Jeffrey Fournier.
Here, look at Thomas Hinz. He wants a crack of the action too. He wants a piece of the pie to the Australian. Wants to go on Jeffrey Fournier, but it's not happening. He's sensible enough to know it's not happening and he doesn't go for it. But, well, if Jeffrey Fournier didn't know he was in a race before, he does now because he's got a hard charging Aussie right behind him.
I think one of the big problems of this train is that if Carlos Andres Ledines can't pass Benefield in the next couple of laps, he's definitely going to lose huge amounts of time, and the distance to the people behind will shrink again, and will make it just another, train, as it was before again. And
I have to say though, it's been a dream race so far. I know there's only 7 minutes of gone, but TTF Racing are having a dream race. I can't remember the last time a TTF was up in 5th. It's really been a breakthrough for Daniel Benefield here, and well, what a signing he has been by the looks of it. Hopefully he can keep it up, but
it appears
he'll have
like
people's eyes if he can keep this sort of performance up. He's got a battle behind. Hinz is going for it. Thomas Hinz on Jeffrey Fournier.
And going for the inside of Andres
Ledines. On the
Ledines.
outside doesn't work for him, and then he's stuck on the outside.
And Tobias Olsen just got past Andres Ledines around Stowe.
Oh, Tobias Olsen, he's on the charge now.
Although there was contact, and Tobias Olsen has run wide after overtaking, so I'm not sure if that was a legal move.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, but he's certainly giving food for thought to Daniel Benefield at the moment. Some maybe, I don't know what food he's giving, maybe some sort of Swedish cuisine, I don't know. But ideally, we should probably ask a Swedish person sort of, just go to IKEA, they serve Swedish food there, but Olsen gets squiggly, and that's not going to help his affairs, is it? Because now all of a sudden the Jesus is on the back of him again, and Benefield's got a slight breather. But I say a slight breather, it won't be very much of a breather, because that Ferrari's super gun in a straight line, and, well, Olsen's got the draft. So if he's feeling brave enough going into Brooklands here, then he can make something happen. Does not do, but gets closer.
I'd say Olsen has a lot later braking points than Benefield there. Also, a lot easier on the throttle.
He's trying to wait for an opportunity to go down the inside, but Benefield is not giving him one. That's what's happening here. He's looking for opportunities that do not exist. Benefield going super defensive and doing a great job. He's not going to try in the Cop's corner. He tries to sell him a dummy, but it doesn't work. Not on Benefield, at least. They both go wide now. This is absolutely brilliant racing, it must be said, but Jeffrey Fournier is only going to benefit, and the likes of Carlos Anderson Dean as well. This is an epic fight. P5 is all set. Contact.
That is
Contact between the two. What's happened there? Well, let's have
a and Hins! Hins goes airborne!
Oh no.
Carnage.
Everything's going wrong. Mark Fuller coming round. I've got to take a look at this now.
That's Tommy Ayala's out.
Tommy Ayala out.
Oh, Benefield came into the corner, got loose to Olsen, tagged him. There was nowhere Tobias could have gone. And then the Stax cars went round, and Hins just an innocent victim in that as well. And then Oyala crashes into Benefield. Benefield makes a genuine mistake coming into the corner. He just clips the curb too much, gets a spin on, then gets tagged by Olsen, and then all hell breaks out, and Benefield out as well. What an absolute heartbreaker of an incident that was.
As I was about to say, it was a heartbreak. It's such a sad story that it had to happen in such fast corners where you have absolutely no control over whether you can stop or not.
Benefield came through the curb there. He just lost it. Olsen couldn't probably avoid hitting him anyway, but that's what set it off. So ultimately, as much as fault would like to be pointed, that just looks like a racing incident to me. But again, it's not my decision. It's the DC's, and well, they're going to have a heck of a job sorting that out.
I just do believe that Olsen and Benefield just got too aggressive on their fight there. Olsen, of course, trying to make up the time to... he had a couple of rather disappointing last rounds. Last round in Brno, he finally got to score the 10th place again. But before that, he had 2 DNFs, and of course, he's going to try and... in the last 2 rounds, he's going to try and get a couple of more points here. But I think that was just a bit too aggressive. He was right on Benefield's tail, going through... Cops, I'm sorry. Not quite familiar with the names here yet. Was quite behind him, and after that, you just couldn't do anything anymore. It was just too close. People behind, it's very hard to stop these GT cars, especially in corners. As Tobias Olsen goes on the grass, coming out of Chapel.
Well, this is going to help his affairs. He's got away from this relatively scot-free, has the Swede. So it's been very lucky and all that. But it was a tragic incident that everyone else seemed to just suffer worsely from.
Speaking of luck,
got away all right.
Speaking of luck, the most lucky driver out of this whole situation, I think, is Jeffrey Fournier. He gained, I think, 2 or 3 places out of that whole mess.
Well, yeah, he's up in the P6 at the moment. It's just stack 6-7 as it stands. Niranjan Kumar, absolutely brilliant run as well in the Racing Team Schroten car there. He's doing great. He's up in the P7 now because, oh no, that was a timing beam error. Sorry, Nico Barkley missed the timing beam, and, well, he's back in the P2 where he rightfully should be. But Kumar still P8 then as he tries to chase down Ladine. He has been doing some good laps, near about the 2-minute mark, but Carlos is about the same. So either not going to make much ground up or not making ground up.
Possibly not making the ground up. The guys in the front are just very, very, very quick. Again, it's Thomas Jacobs and the other 4 and the 4 of the fastest Ferraris. It's not going to be easy to catch up to them in whatever you're driving and whoever you are, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy job driving these GT cars, nor catching in them. But Bristol Cappett's starting to pull away. But I'll tell you what, Boyer Milan is not that far off the Estonian. But then again, all these 3 drivers in Ferraris, which with Silverstone being quite a high fuel usage track, being a long track, could force a pit stop.
Yes, but
if Thomas Jacobs doesn't have to pit, that could really help him.
With, if I recall correctly, it's a fairly decent amount of time that you're on full throttle on this track, and again, a lot of corners, a lot of accelerations.
Boyer Milan has got a huge speed advantage here, coming into Stowe.
And he's done it.
He's done it, fair and square. Boyer Milan through. Nico Barkley hoping to retain some sort of speed advantage through the draft, maybe going into turn number
Oh,
Thomas
16 here,
Jacob
this is
coming
Vale.
into the back of
Oh,
Nico Barkley there.
well, Jacobs, maybe a slight overjudgment. We don't see that very often from Thomas Jacobs. He's a very consistent driver, as we pointed out. Very sensible as well, so maybe genuinely overjudged the brakes there.
It looked
Barkley's
like
missed a timing beam again and is reset in front of Jacobs.
it looked like there was very little contact, if any, at all. So I think it was fairly fair, and maybe just got caught out by Barkley braking a bit early than usual, perhaps. But from what I'm seeing, it could be very interesting, and Jacobs could be up for third place very soon if he keeps it up like this.
All he has to do is keep on the back of Barkley and maybe make an overtaking move, and that's it, yeah. But speaking of things being seemed easy, Risto Kacper's making this championship win seem easy. He's 3.2 seconds ahead now. He's got his clear rear. He's all right. Everything's going okay. And it's all seemingly going fine for Kacper at the moment. He's all good.
But we're only 15 minutes into the race, and in a 60-minute race, anything can happen. 45 minutes left. It's quite a bit of time. For all we know, he could be running a bit more and using a bit more fuel than everyone else, and possibly having to pit stop. So we're going to just have to wait and see.
To be completely fair, looking back at that incident, I think Carlos Andres Ledins was the luckiest one out of that entire incident, because he ran wide, had a little bit of a oversteer there. Barely kept it together, went a bit wide at the corner before the incident actually happened, and then went back onto track, and just to avoid the car of Mr. Benefield, very, very barely, and that was insanely close. Right behind him the accident happened, and I think both of the Stax Racing Aston Martins were very lucky there.
Yeah, I mean, both Stax cars are in 6th and 7th at the moment. Solid results for the team from Canada, and they have really made a mark in their first series here at GPVWC, haven't they? They've shown that they can bring the fight to the big guns. And that, well, will definitely, as well as that consistent amount of getting the drivers to teams, they can get the cars onto the race, you know? They're always there racing, and that reliability is something that will really help them in the league, because there's nothing better than the team who will always be there no matter what.
Indeed. Actually, just as a bit of a different topic for a second, what I'm finding interesting is that Philip Puška is still in 9th, and kind of shows that the Super League champion is only midfield in this race, which kind of shows the level of the drivers in this field. It is absolutely stunning.
Well, remember the GT cars aren't suited to everyone, and Philip, as a, well, open-wheel driver, mostly, as we know him for, might not be as well suited to the GT cars, but nonetheless, he is doing a very good job in P9.
Indeed, he's just keeping it clean and just doing his own job. It's still very interesting because a lot of the drivers will be able to do cross categories, and it's just always lovely to see someone who's so good in open wheelers to do alright and show that basically people in other series aren't as slow as some people might think just because they're not driving in a Formula 1 style car.
I'll tell you what, that incident before has not helped TSA Racing's chance at the team's title. Because Chirkwin is last in P20, and Kacper is out there winning, and Philip Puška is in P9. Remember that not many points have to be outscored. You don't have to Street Fighter don't have to outscore TSA by that much to win. At the moment, Thomas Jacobs is P4 is going to net the team 13 points, whereas Risto's and Philip's results are going to net the team 32 points. So that is pretty much 19 points difference, and they only need to outscore them by 4.
Well, that would be a quite clear championship win then for a Street
Chirkwin
Fighter.
pretty much needs a third at this point. Chirkwin needs a third, or Jacobs needs... They basically need a 3-4 to continue, and it's not going to happen at this rate. So it looks like Street Fighter, with that incident, have pretty much secured the team's title at least. But then again, if Puška drops out of the points, I'm not hoping he will, of course, but if he does drop out of the points, then the gap from Kacper to Jacobs becomes 12, which is still too much, but reduces it at least.
So apparently Pushka is actually filling in with less than an hour's notice,
You
so
see,
that would actually make a lot of sense.
That not only does that explain it, but it shows his fortitude and his dedication to his team. So hats off to Philip, you know. Oh, we got a mistake in P3.
Barkley.
That's Barkley, who's had a bit of a do. What
Drifting
happened there?
through cops there. Barely holding it together. That was very great car control there.
Oh, yes, gets a right slide on, gets a right side slide on, and Thomas Jacobs, a little bit closer. Barkley's cooked his tyres the wrong way, and now TJ has a shot and a potential P3 if he can close in enough. Doesn't look like he's going to, but he's going to line himself up.
Well, that drift or slide was really great for spectators if they saw it. It really didn't. It didn't really work well for the tyres, did it? And we still got 40 minutes basically to go, 2/3 of the race. And I think, especially as I've seen from some of the drivers here, Tobias Olsen locking up quite a couple of times not to collide with others, and then Barkley pulling off that spectacular drift there. I think people might be getting problems with their tyres in the end of the race.
Possibly. Also, just as a little side note, Sharon van der Sloot actually overtook Philip Pushka for 9th.
Oh yes, Van der Sloot threw on Pushka there. Philip demoted to P10 therefore. Still not enough to reduce the necessary gap streak, but they are set to win the team's title by quite a margin. And Risto Kacper, if he can keep this race up, we are a third of the way through the race. If he can keep that gap up, he will take the driver's title in style.
Yeah, basically all the wins he can take, he will at this rate. So that would be quite a feat, actually.
Yeah, we're looking at about 30 laps in this race. So 10 through means we're about a third of the way through. But of course, we don't know how well those Ferraris will be able to hold out on the fuel, because we know that they're not the best in the world on fuel, don't we?
Yes,
Some dramas we've had before.
That's very much a possibility to be an issue. Thomas Jacobs will be the one that's very happy to be in a Corvette right now, just because those cars are quite good on fuel, in fact. You can definitely finish the race on 1 tank of fuel in that car.
Yeah, that's a certainty. So Thomas Jacobs will be a very happy person indeed in that Corvette, sitting pretty in 4th, when his opponents ahead might have to stop. But nonetheless... let's see if we can find a fight here, because it all seems to drop out in World GT sometimes. What we do have, a developing fight at least. Something that's in the works. Darren van der Weide is not really that far from Mark Fuller, and this is for P11, so a decent points position. And van der Weide here, making his World GT debut, is making inroads on the ST Racing Star Wars.
And right behind those two, we've got Brett Metcalf and David John fighting for 13th place.
Yeah, look at David Young, all the way from the pit lane up to currently 14th and possibly 13th.
That's impressive for a pit start.
It is. This race is definitely showing his colours today. Of course, the former Masters Series champion is Yunt, so good in a variety of cars.
Also, we have a little battle going behind them for 16 or for 15th actually, between Rory Collins and Random Muru apparently brewing as well. They're very
this
close
is
to each
for
other.
the last points position. I've just seen Florian Engel just go straight on in the Epic Racing Viper, so something has not complied in that car, and he just seemed to get understeer going on and then had to straight line it. So Engel's all right, but we do have a fight battle on for the 5 points position. Collins versus Muru. Muru here it's going to be a buzz of the air, making his debut for the team at least. And Rando looks to be catching Rory.
So we basically have seemingly 3 kind of fights, one after another.
Yeah, Collins goes a bit wide here, but then that becomes the inside line. So Rando, unless he can get the cutback through here, which he tries to do but doesn't
get distraction to get away. He would have gotten it if he could just power through, but now you must remember that the Ferrari has a superior...
I've just seen a more interesting fight. Sorry about this. Take a look at Niranjan Kumar. He's within half a second of Carlos Andres Ledins.
And Carlos Andres Ledins is catching Jeffrey Funia.
And Carlos catching Jeffrey as well. This could get very juicy very quickly.
And that's
Olsen.
Olsen's just stopped dead on the track. What?
He's spun.
He's got suspension damage, that's what. But how? Oh, he lost it through the Beckett's complex on the last corner. Got wide, spun, whacked the rear suspension.
He lost the wheel.
He's lost the wheel.
And he's lost a wheel. This is dangerous stuff for Molson. Now he's got to slow down, but he's desperate to get back to the pits.
That is also a possibility that he will not be able to repair that damage.
Well, please slow down, Tobias. You're going to cause a problem if you keep this up. But luckily he hasn't so far. Crosses over as soon as possible. Has to cut the pit lane to get into the pits. Might not even get the chance. He's all squiggly. Oh, this is crazy for Molson here. Thank God he's got into the pit lane, though. That was hazardous.
Well, Spins going into the pits and
Thank
retires.
goodness he didn't cause an incident. Luckily, he let everyone through. That was so lucky. He's left the race. He is out. And that is the end for Tobias Olsen. I'll tell you what that's done. That's put Jeffrey Fournier into P5. And Niran Jan Kumar within arm's reach of P6. And Jared van der Weide in reach of P10 because he's having to go at Mark Fuller.
Actually, are my eyes deceiving me, or has Thomas Hinz actually unlapped himself from those two?
No.
I'm going to have a look because, well, he's ahead of them. He's ahead of them, but I don't know about unlapped.
I think that he was behind them last time I checked.
Well, he might have been, but I'm going to have a look back in the replay, see if that's correct or not. And you know what? Your eyes aren't deceiving, and Mark Fuller let them through. Mark Fuller let Thomas Hinz through, and he did unlap himself on Jared van der Weide.
Impressive.
This is a great job from Hinz to keep up the recovery drive. He might not be very happy with it himself because he might think he should have been higher, but he should be proud that he's managed to unlap himself.
That's quite a feat, actually.
And he's pulling away.
It's actually quite impressive how he keeps the car going that well, even after he took off several meters into the air in that collision.
Yeah. Oh, Pushka's cut a corner apparently. How badly did he cut it? If it's not a bad cut, oh yeah, he does cut the last corner of the Beckett's complex there, where it also went off. Obviously, if you cut the corners too much in GPV, you do get penalties. But
I should know the best.
That corner as well, Chapel, the last one of that complex, Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. Also, after this huge incident we had on, I think it was lap 4. Ever since then, Olsen has been going very risky there, and in the last time he went risky there, it was obviously not playing out in his favour.
Oh, Van der Weide! Oh, he's through! Well, he almost was through into P10, but Fuller takes it back, and now the Aussie wants to go again. Tries to go for it, doesn't quite get it this time, but coming through into the first turn, Van der Weide probably won't go for it in turn 1, but he'll line himself up brakes nice and early, hoping Fuller doesn't get a good exit. And he's put himself within arm's reach of the position again, unless he can get the braking here. No, what he's doing is he's hoping Fuller makes a mistake in defence. That's what he's doing. But he might have to go a bit more offensive. Fuller locks up, and he's within arm's reach again off P10.
He may be trying to use his slipstream advantage right here and try to overtake Fuller into the next corner. That's also something he may be thinking of doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously the plan for Van der Weide. Maybe not going to make it happen just yet, but he closes in on Fuller. And is he going to make something happen in the Luffield here? Be amazing if he did. He's not going to. He holds it, waits, not going to try through Woodcut or Cops. But realistically, there's not that many overtaking opportunities at this point in the lap. You have to wait until the likes of Stoll, Vale, Club, Abbey, and then Village, and the Loop, and Aintree. It's the first section where most of your overtaking opportunities are, unless you're very brave.
Yeah.
But Fuller goes wide. Fuller goes wide. That's an opportunity for Van der Weide. And he's more than certainly going to take it. He goes through the outside of the Beckett's complex, and he gets it. Jared van der Weide, P10.
That's impressive. Again, it was just a little mistake from Fuller, and it's just this simple to lose a position in this kind of race when you have this kind of close-matched cars. So it's just a matter of you cannot make a mistake, even a small one like this. Otherwise, you will lose quite a lot.
Well, we got a battle behind this as well. David Young versus Brett Metcalf for P12. He's got past Rory Collins, who's under threat from Rando Muru. And Philip Marmon up behind them, but let's go to Yunt, who's chasing Metcalf. He's already been lapped by the TSA racing car there of, Shergood, who he's about to lap.
He was actually unlapping himself from Davide, and he actually just unlapped himself.
Wow. That is good stuff from Sherwood. Maybe
Of
the
course,
people in
that's
the
all
points
after
who don't
the-
think it's worth it, trying to fight them.
Possibly, and because they are quite quick, and I presume they have fresher tires because these are the cars that were damaged. Tim and Hinsey have the advantage of just being... and possibly not having to slow down because they have enough fuel, since they probably took a bit more.
That is probably the case, yes. I think Racewell Capet holds the fastest lap of the race so far, which come to half race distance. 1:58.7 from Capet. So, very, very good stuff indeed, as we lose Kacper Kolodziejczyk for a minute, but he'll be back soon. That's fine. Me and Nico can hold the fort.
Well, we've got quite a lot of experience with it already, yeah, don't we?
Yeah, back to the usual combo. Yes, indeed. That is just... Oh, Kumar! Kumar's got off new and young. Kumar's on an off in P7.
Oh!
That's very bad for the Indian. What's happened is he's lost it to the Beckett's complex, and he's lost it to the first turn of said Beckett's complex. Hits the curb, gets wide, exactly what happened to Benefield, and then manages to save it from hitting the wall too badly. And he's back going again, but he's dropped to P9 and pushed up to P8.
Doesn't seem that he took any damage from that. Of course, failed at saving it. Also, as we were just looking at the front again a bit more, William Milan has caught up to Risto Capet by 2/10 again. It is now only 1.8 seconds behind him.
You know what? You're right. He has. He's been on a stellar run of form as boy. I'm not going to say Fristo's made a mistake somewhere down the line. He hasn't. No. As Boyer just set some really good lap. Yeah, he's been dipping into the 59s more often than Risto. That's why he's been gaining time.
And now 1.6 seconds.
Could this be the start of a challenge to the dominance of Bristol Capet? No, it can't happen, can it? No, Bristol's going to win everything. But boy, well, I have something to say about that. Jared van der Weide pits at half race distance.
Well, honestly, at this rate, it's well, it's not a given that Risto is gonna win. And again, maybe it's possible that Borja was actually saving fuel earlier, was saving tires, something. And now he's decided that I have enough of this and I'm going to push it, or I can't make it without the pit, or something like that. And it's just that he's now closing in on Risto.
By the looks of it, yes. In fact, you know what? I'd say that gap has come down even more by eye. Obviously, we'll not get any official news till we get the sector splits, but let's see what happens. It's come through into sector 2. 1.1 seconds. Boyer Milan has just taken half a second out of Risto Capet. That's not something I thought I'd be saying, given the Estonian's dominance. Now he's even closer still. The gap's half a second. I can't quite believe this, but we're going to battle for the lead. This is legitimately happening. Why is this happening? Boyer Milan has found a surge of speed, and he's taken it to the Estonian.
Actually, from what I'm hearing, I just quickly checked the engine sounds, and it seems like Risto is revving a lot lower, so he may just be saving the car quite a bit more, or the fuel, or something.
Well, Boyer Milan will be in full maximum attack mode now, because he knows he got the chance in the position.
Of course.
He knows it. I'll have a listen to how Risto's driving and see if he is indeed... Yeah, he is short-shifting big time as Risto Capet, possibly trying to save fuel. Maybe he doesn't want to make a pit stop.
That's
Maybe
very
he's changed
likely.
his strategy. He's short-shifting to stop himself from using as much fuel, and it's let Boyer Milan in with a chance of a lead.
The thing is, if the Ferraris have to pit, Thomas is only 5 seconds behind Risto. That would clearly mean that Thomas would have an advantage right here and could possibly challenge for the win.
That's what Risto's thinking is he doesn't want to pit so he can at least secure the win. I think he's thinking the long game here.
That's very possible.
Maybe he's thinking the long game, trying to short shift now, save fuel, keep the fuel going for later so he doesn't have to pit and he can stay ahead of Jacobs. That's probably what Risto's thinking is.
Possibly.
Sorry.
What I'm saying right now as well, it seems like Milan actually has slightly better lines for the corners, at least Magus and Beckett's. And
Yeah,
just
Milan-
closed in quite significantly.
He's in absolute maximum attack as the Spaniard. He can sense he's been given a chance. He's sure as heck taking it. But Risto's staying ahead is the thing. Yeah, he's short-shifted, but he's staying ahead. And this could play perfectly for him if he can go till the end.
It could. Again, this race is 60 minutes race, a 60-minute race, so it's still technically a sprint race, but you still have to think about strategies already at this kind of race lengths, and especially with these cars that have fuel tanks which barely
Kacper's
last.
last lap there, a 2-minute .2. Boyer's a 2-minute .1. And that was on maximum attack from Milan, and Kacper was saving fuel. He's gaining in places, but he can't make it work.
Well,
Well,
we're
I
going
think-
to just have to wait and see.
I think Risto might also just play a game of, cat and mouse. He's just going to let him come close, and then he's going to drive a little bit away again. And by doing that, he's going to have Boyer Milan pushing like hell at the moment, and maybe even sacrificing a bit more of his tires than he has to. And also using more fuel, of course. And then when Boyer Milan is not able to compete anymore, Risto is just going to have a nice little Sunday drive and is going to be like, okay, guys, I'll see you at the finish line.
Again.
If that's what he's doing and he pulled it off, it would be one of the best tactical plays I've ever seen in racing.
The thing is, there are only certain places you can overtake at Silverstone, and it seems like those are the exact places where Risto is trying to pull away. And he knows that, for example, through Maggots and Beckett's, you just cannot overtake unless someone makes a monumental mistake.
Well, it seems like Risto, if he is saving fuel, it's almost like he's teasing Milan. Yeah, he knows he can stay ahead because he's Risto Campus, but he's putting the dip dab in front of Boyer Milan's mouth. He's saying, come and get it. Here you go. He's pulling it away again at the last minute. But I tell you what's happening now, Boyer Milan, for once in the World GT Series, we're seeing a battle for the lead because he's actually grabbing for the dip dab. That's what he's doing. He's going for it. He's trying to grasp it in both hands. Of course, Boyer's the sort of person who would do that, but it's not often we see people this close together for the lead.
You know what? While we were concentrating on the lead, there's actually a three-way battle a bit behind for 10th place between Fuller, Metcalf, and Yunt.
Yeah, this is turning into a lovely fight. This is probably even closer still. Metcalf thinks he can have a go. Brett wants to go, but he's not quite getting it. David Yunt will use this chance to close in on the South African and then go for the position through the Beckett's complex, or at least line himself up for move after the Beckett's complex. Yunt goes through 1, goes through 2, goes through 3 now. No time gained, unfortunately, which is a problem for him. But Mark Fuller leading the straight and is not giving 10th up without a fight. Kumar back in, well, Kumar was 9th anyway, though. Jeffrey Foreman here, definitely one of the standout performers of this race, though, in P5. As Florian Engel quits, unfortunately. We've
That
lost
means
the
we've
epic racing
lost
driver.
both our Vipers.
Yeah, Boyer Milan at the front here cannot make the ground up with Kacper now. He's within arm's length. Last lap was a 2-minute .4. Risto's a 2-minute .4 while saving fuel.
That is so very slow, as we've seen.
What he's doing
These
is
cars.
it's almost like he is playing cat and mouse with Boyer. He's saying, here's the sweet, nope, I'm taking it from you. Now come and get it, nope, I'm taking it from you. And that could use Boyer's tyres up, and it could reduce the competition in the future for Boyer because he won't have as much tyres.
You know,
We just saw it at Cops as well, how Boyer Milan has to really suffer with his size right behind Capit with the 30A as well.
at this rate, with this kind of lap times, I think the two people that will be benefiting from it would be Nico Barkley and Thomas Jacobs.
Yeah, Barkley and Jacobs, especially if Kacper does have to pit after all this. I doubt he will. I think he's played this perfectly. But if he does have to pit, then this could benefit Jacobs and Barkley brilliantly. I mean, we had a race where Risto pit and we thought Jacobs could go to the end, but Risto must have known that Thomas had to pit because Thomas did pit. He played it perfectly and won the race. He's not just a quick driver, Risto. He's brilliant on the tactical side of things.
Yeah, you can't just be a quick driver in this series. You also have to be smart. Think of what you're doing and think of how much fuel you have, how much you have left. I think when I raced at Spa, I was left with 0.1 lap of a fuel left at the end of the finish line. So it's very difficult to.
You know what the
manage
kicker of it is? The kicker of it is I've just seen the lap times. Boyer Milan 2 minutes 6.15 on what we think is maximum attack. Risto Kacper 2 minute dead while fuel saving. He's gone faster while fuel saving. Boya's tyres must be suffering now. This has played into Risto's hands.
Although Risto just made a mistake in Boya.
Well, that is a rare thing in itself, and this could give Boya a little bit more of a shout.
Also, catching up behind them is Nico Barkley.
Yeah, now Barkley wants a piece of the pie too. As is Jacobs, a bit further behind mine, but he's there. He's present, ready to pounce on a mistake.
Anything can happen here. Just a single mistake, which is quite easy to do, to be honest, could just completely change the outcome of this race.
It's as I say, he keeps holding the sweetie in front of Boya Milan's face and taking it away at the last minute because he's got the speed and the pace to go faster on the lap when it matters, as Risto Kacper. And Boya Milan, helpless at the moment to do anything about it. He has to keep grasping, but he can't do it because he doesn't have the leeway. Not even going to have the leeway down the hangar straight.
Oh, and Boya Milan looking.
Yeah, he's having a look, but again, he can't make it happen.
I can tell you one
thing.
thing.
The thing about Risto, he's there and he's teasing Milan with the prospect of a lead, but he's just fuel saving and he's still leading.
Barkley is already basically on the rear wing of Milan as well. It can be a three-way.
He's about 8 tenths behind, in all honesty, but he's close enough to cause discomfort for the Spaniard.
Well, he has closed in over a second over the last couple laps, so I mean he is quite significantly faster than the two in the front.
Well, check his last lap. He did a 1:59.7, so yeah, he is faster than Milan and Kacper in that respect. So he should, by mathematical senses, be catching the both of them.
Yes, and I think it's quite
But then
visible.
again, it looks like Barkley's on maximum attack as well.
I'm really wondering how the fuel is going to play out in the end, because again, it's a very fuel hungry car on a pretty fast track, so we're just gonna have to wait and see.
We will have to see indeed, as there are 40 minutes of this 60-minute race gone, just 19 or 20 left to go. Not long now until we find out who's gonna win. But it's certainly got interesting, I'll say that much, because Barkley is caught up to, he's starting to catch on Milan again. Milan's catching on Kacper again. Thomas Jacobs is doing well to keep there as well, but I'll tell you this. Here's an interesting little fight. Don't go to it necessarily, but a fight in prospect. Thomas Hins, on a 2:09, is going faster than Jared van der Weide by about 2 or 4 seconds a lap. It fluctuates between 2 and 4 seconds a lap. It could be that Pins manages to score a point after the drama he had before. And not even 1 point after all that would be a godsend.
That would be definitely something he would be very happy with after when he considers what happened to him and how he was third party in that whole incident. He got quite significantly disadvantaged.
Yep, he is. He's not been in the best of races as Thomas Hins, but he's held with it. He's kept going. He's held his fortitude. He's been there. He's still racing, and that's what counts. Van der Weide, quite a bit of a lap ahead at the moment, but... Oh, we have a battle on for Yunt and Morby. P11 and P12 here. Morby within touching distance of Yunt, who's in within touching distance of Metcalf.
This battle has been going on for a little while.
Oh, Milan, look at Boya Milan has a goal on Risto Kacper. He got close, tried to sell the Estonian a dummy there or something. Nearly made it work, but he's showing aggressive intent now as the Spaniard. He got the draft down straight, moved outside, but couldn't get it done. And Boya starting to get serious.
Almost 3/4 through the race now.
Yeah, Boya gave us a shock there. I didn't expect him to go for it so soon or catch up so soon, but he has done, and it's benefited Kacper in the end because, well, he's a bit further ahead, but Boya is closing. We know he's got the straight line speed now.
We definitely know that he has general outright speed just on the basis that he's pushing so hard, and that he's going to be on his rear wing again in no time whatsoever.
Oh yes, it looks like that could be the case, but question, can he make advantage of when he does? We saw he couldn't get past through Brooklyn, so Will he be able to later in the race? That's the question.
By the way, we have Kumar and Van der Sloot side by side for 7th place.
Sherwin Van der Sloot and Niranjan Kumar going into Cops, and well, Sherwin, the Dutchman, gets it for now. Van der Sloot up into 7th, runs a little wide, but not wide enough to make him force the position back, and Kumar's got a bit of work to do. But Kumar, in turn, has gone up a position. He's gone past Philip Pushgear again.
Also, while we were watching the front battle, Risto's little play up the front, the two, what is it? Stax Racing. Sorry about that. Those two cars switched positions, and Carlos Andres Ledins was finally able to make the move on Jeffrey Fournier, and is now a little bit pulling away, actually.
And along all that, we have Philip Morby, who actually overtook David Junt. And he's now challenging Brett Metcalf for 10th place. They're very close to each other at the moment, actually.
Metcalf Morby could be a fight to watch here. Let's keep a jolly eye on that. Metcalf under threat from the English winners. Philip goes between his goal. He goes on the outside.
Brett goes very defensive.
Here. This is going to be tricky, but makes it work. Well done, Philip Morby. But look at Brett Metcalf. Wants the cut back. Has a good line.
Just a bit of a mistake from Morby.
Gets a bit of a mistake. Will it benefit the South African? No, it won't. Morby has the inside. And Brett Metcalf forced to settle for 11th.
Very well done. A very clean move on the outside. Pretty difficult to pull off, but once you do, it's definitely satisfying.
Yeah, a very good move to do, indeed. And, well, I bet that Boy Man would love to get this move done on Philip Bristol Kacper, but he can't do it. He got to shimmy out in the Pickens complex. Gap's to 2nd now. So,
you know what's interesting? Nico Barkley is actually closer to Milan than Milan is to Kacper.
Oh, he is, yeah. And Nico Barkley behind. This is the battle for P2. This is happening now, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely keep an eye on this, because this isn't over yet.
No, we have 3 challengers for the win, with one being a definite favorite for the win behind them if they all have to pit. So we still have 4 people who can very much win this.
Theoretically, yes. I mean, let's not forget, though, that Risto Kacper only needs an 11th place to win the Drivers' Championship, and he's a whole minute 19 ahead of 11th place. He's a whole minute 19 ahead, so really has not got a care in the world, Risto Kacper, and he just wants to win it for winning its sake.
Of course, it's basically just a good feeling if you win a race, and you know that you didn't have to do much more to win it. Like you sometimes get the feeling like you could have done so much more to get such a better result. You just can't. You just don't have that feeling when you win.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to win a Drivers' Championship, do it in style, no?
Pretty much.
And that's what Risto wants to do. He's pulling ahead. He's pulling away at Boyer. He's got Jared van der Weide for company now in terms of getting through on a lap on the Australian. And, well, van der Weide coming through Stowe and Hin's coming through into Village. So there's about half a lap between the two now. Van der Weide has got to let Kacper through, though, at some point. And that will be when the Estonian catches up. Rando Muru pits. And he is driving a Ferrari. So is now the time.
Yes, teammate of Nico Barkley, sorry.
Is now the time? That's the question going to be asked. That's what we're asking. I tell you what. I see a little green light on the bottoms of the dashboards of the car of Roy Milan and Nico Barkley that I don't see on the bottom of Risto Kacper's. Could that mean they intend to pit soon?
I shall check what that little thing is.
Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah, it's a little green bar on their dashboards. It could be a pit indicator.
It just disappeared from Nico Barkley.
Yeah,
dashboard,
it did. So perhaps it's something else?
It could possibly be a pit indicator, but which is automatically set up to show itself up when you're low on fuel. That's what our Factor 2 does whenever you have a setup. You have a pit stop in your setup that it will basically call you in way too early. So I wouldn't really read too much into this.
Yeah, well.
As we say
it's
this
worth-
though,
it's
as
worth
we say this
considering
though,
because-
Philip Pushka has the light as well,
Yeah, Pushka has it as well.
and isn't going into pits. So.
Rando Muru doesn't have it, and he's just pitted. So I think it is a pit light of some description, at least informing them that the time is nigh, and that's not going to help anyone but Thomas Jacobs.
Now, with 11 minutes to go, we're just going to have to see how they can handle this amount of fuel. But I presume by now they already know if they have to pit or not.
I think even an overtake at this point would be futile for Milan if he's got a pit, because he won't have enough time on Kacper. It would have had been done a long time ago. I think he's accepted his fate now. As he just gets a bit slidey through the Beckett's complex. Barkley will want to overtake Milan though, because he's actually got something to gain from all this. So with about 10 minutes to go in the race, how's it been for you then, Nico? How has the race been? Has it been a fun one?
Well, definitely it was interesting, especially with this. I believe it is a tactical choice of Kacper, but we don't know for sure. Hopefully we're gonna get enlightened on that after the race. Definitely a more interesting fight to the for the lead than the last couple of ones, and well, definitely we had our own little shock moment there in lap 4, where we lost 2 cars, actually 3 cars. Christoph Lichtenstein also lost his car, but didn't even collide with the main accident there. He just lost it while braking on a curb there. And yeah, I think we had quite a lot of stuff happening in this race, and well, in any series, well, quite often Silverstone basically has a lot of interesting racing and different incidents to well, present.
Kacper, your thoughts on the race?
Fairly interesting. A lot of different battles. Very, very close racing. Some unlucky accidents, as we've seen, and other than that, some actually brilliant maneuvers around some corners. So quite happy. Very good race to watch.
It has been a good race indeed. You know, it's had the action, had the thrills, had the spills, had the drama. Who says World GT's boring? Only someone who doesn't know the racing, probably. And, well, Bristol Kacper knows how to race a car. He's been in the lead from the start to the finish. He's probably going to get the fastest lap. I wouldn't be surprised if he got the Grand Slam in most races this season. He's been that good.
Indeed, again, this many wins just does not come just randomly given out for nothing. He does have the consistency, the planning, the strategy, and the talent to do it.
And the pace.
And the pace, of course.
Yeah, he didn't get the Grand Slam in Fuji. Jordan Weeks got the fastest lap there. Didn't get the Grand Slam in Brazil. That was Boy Milan who got the fastest lap. Fairly certainly got the Grand Slam in... Oh,
Nicolas Barkley in
Barkley
pace.
in, and that is not really surprised. He had the light. And Boy Milan, well, Barkley somehow is in the lead in all this, probably because he's gone into the pit lane. Will lose said lead to Risto Kacper. So effectively, Kacper has still led the whole race though. And Milan might join him soon. Diegos will take P3.
Now,
And
he had to pit with about 8 minutes to go. We've seen him and Milan having very similar... Well, we had a little light on the dashboard, so it could be that Milan has to pit next lap even. While we don't really know about Kacper, we have absolutely no data on what's happening with him and his fuel.
yeah, I mean, we don't know what's happening with Risto, we don't know what's happening with Boy, but Risto does not have the light. Maybe it's fuel saving. But he doesn't get it. He tried around Luffield. It would have been super awesome if he'd done it. But there's an old mass disconnect. We've got loads of people leaving the race. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars gone.
Including Thomas Jacobs,
Thomas
Nico
Jacobs
Barkley.
included. I would not be surprised if that's a red flag.
I
We
also
got
lost
5
connection.
cars out at once, and Kacper will probably gain the Drivers' Championship that way. Boy, I could have had a chance if they had continued, but it's a saving grace as Fournier has gone as well. This has got to be a red flag. If it's not a red flag, then there's madness.
It was 100% server fault because we also had... you actually sound very staticky and you were basically incomprehensible on the TS server as well, so I presume it was a server fault.
Well,
Yep.
we've had multiple disconnects. Why has there not been a red flag yet? Is my question. And
Race
yeah,
director.
we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars out of 18 runners. That's almost half.
That
Well,
should be
That's
red
almost
flag.
half. I would red flag it if it were me.
We also
Oh.
lost a third of our commentator team. Me.
Thankfully, we didn't. Oh, Thomas Jacobs rejoined the race, but that's not going to help him much.
Jacobs has rejoined. It's not going to help affairs, but oh, apparently Chris Williamson has just PM'd me on TeamSpeak. We are getting a red flag, so this race is going to come to an end. So we are not going to continue this race any further. It will be Risto Kacper, therefore, that has won the Drivers' Championship in a dramatic finish.
That is, well, it's a bit of a sad end to the race because it was absolutely a stunner, and it's shaped up to be quite interesting to see where if Milan had to pit, if Kacper had to pit, and it could have been so good
well,
for.
Milan goes past Kacper. It's not going to count for much now, but I assume the red flag will be taken from when the incident occurred. But Boyer has gone through nonetheless. Risto must know it's going to be a red flag. That's probably why he's let Boyer through. But Milan has taken the lead. It's probably going to be futile in the end. But I have been told, I messaged Chris Williamson with the question, red flag. He said yes. So there is likely going to be a red flag soon. It has been red flagged, but we're still racing in the server for some reason.
I see no reason why we are.
And
There
red
we go.
flag officially from Chris Williamson. That is it. Race over. I'm going to take it and see it'll be Risto Kacper with the win, because taking it from the points where the incident occurred, if Boyer has got the win, then it's a misjudgment on Risto's part. But I would take it to see if Risto's got the win here. I'm just going to confirm that with Mr. Williamson as well. Make sure I am not deluding myself.
I'm not sure. Do the rules state that it's from when the incident occurred or a lap before? Because it could. Would that mean then?
It would mean Risto's pretty much got it either way.
Yes, but now the question is, would that mean that Nico Barkley is third?
Barkley might be third in all this, and that would have helped him out a lot. And, well, I've had word through from Chris Williamson. He believes Risto Kacper is the winner. So, in that case, he has made a perfect record.
That's impressive, to say the very least.
Well, yep, a dramatic end to this race. It'll be from a lap before the disconnection is the official word from race director Williamson.
Well, now, if I recall correctly, because Barkley pitted in, and because the pit in is shorter, I think by the end of the lap he was second rather than third, but that could be just taken in as third just because that would be a bit more fair. But I'm not sure. Obviously, it depends on the race direction.
Yeah, we are therefore expecting Kacper, Milan, Barkley top three in all this. So those will be the three we get in for the interviews if they're around. And, well, that should be the case, I think. Is Boyer Milan actually pitted, or is he still going? I think Boyer's still going.
He's still going, yeah.
Boyer's still going. This is a bit problematic. That is not good. Does he even know there's been a red flag?
I would hope so.
He must do. No, well,
He's
still lapping. This is a bit strange, but
He's going slow.
he's
He
going
knows.
slow. He must know now, if he didn't know before. Yep, reiterating the command for all drivers to pit. And, well, what an end to the race that was.
Exciting, but again, a bit sad of an end. I mean, this happens, and it is unluckily what happens in online racing.
Yeah, well, as the saying goes, the proverbial happens, and we're taking the result from the lap before the disconnections. I take it to mean Risto has the win then. Then it's Boyer Milan, then it's Nico Barkley, then it's Thomas Jacobs, then it's Carlos Sanders Deans, then Jeffrey Fournier for the top six, definitely. That is how it will go, I believe. So we have a driver's champion with a perfect record.
Again, very good job. Well done. Absolutely brilliant race. Well managed with keeping everyone off his backside, especially Milan for such a long time. But obviously, Barkley also pushing so strong. A bit of a bad start from, I think it was Milan, but he obviously just pulled it back and came second.
Well, I'll tell you what we can do. In the light of all this, we can most certainly invite our brand new 2016 World GT Drivers' Champion into the booth, Mr. Risto Kacper. You've done it.
Yes.
You've done it. 6 races in the season that you are participating in. 6 wins. You've won every single race you've participated in World GT. Perfection.
Yes, but I'm not going to lie, my fuel was very critical in the end. I mean, you have to ask what Boria was doing. I had to start going really slow to finish without stopping just before the red flags, so I don't know. It was tighter than usual this time, so, but yes, very happy. It turned out well. Got very lucky.
Yeah, yes, we were wondering about the fuel for the entirety of the last, basically half an hour of the race whenever we had Milan right behind you. The thing is, Nico Barchi was going about as fast as Milan was, and he had to pit, and we've seen that Milan had to probably pit the same time, like probably a lap later or two. So, yeah, well done on saving the fuel, and well done on the win. But
User disconnected from your channel.
It seems like the track is just very fuel it has a very high fuel consumption, and I guess again it just seemed like you were either saving fuel for the very last while or saving tires, one of the two.
Yes, it's probably the same like in Istanbul. Boria was chasing me hard, and then he pitted in this last moment, or was Barclay. So I was expecting that to happen, but either way, even if that was their tactic, they were pushing me very hard. So I just wanted to be in front, whatever happens. I didn't think of the red flag or anything, but still. But yeah, they made me push a bit, so that made my fuel critical. And I tried just for this race the S8 tires, more harder than usual, and they probably didn't work out as well as they should have. So yeah, it wasn't my best performance, so I'm lucky to get away with it. But yeah, overall my pace was still good, as is apparent from the qualifying. So I knew that I can't just be 0.8 of a second slower in the race, so I think I wasn't too worried. But yeah, it was very interesting. Unlike some other races, this was on the edge, so I'm happy for it to finish like this instead of just pulling away too far. So very happy.
And so you should be. I do believe Street Fighter Racing Systems have taken the team's title as well. So congrats to you on that. Also, you've had a great season, a fantastic run of perfection results. You got the fastest lap too, I believe, so you got the Grand Slam.
Yes, I did it on purpose, of course, just one lap to show Boria my cards. I went without fuel saving and using my tires, so that's what I'm aiming for. But yeah,
just to drive the point home if it wasn't obvious before. And we do know we're not going to have you for the last race of the season, unfortunately, but it has been an honour and a privilege watching you blitz the field into oblivion, and hopefully next year we'll be able to have you around as well, or at least for some point of it.
I will come. I'll come next year in the summer. So let's see what happens.
Yep,
probably World GT is over then, but 2018 then will be my return.
Well, and I'm sure everyone will be quietly very scared when you do come back, Risto. Thanks very much for doing it. Congratulations on both titles again as well.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
And I'm just going to see if I can get anyone else in for interviews. I'm thinking Thomas Jacobs if he's not busy. But yeah, because he was P4 in this. I'm going to see if I can get a couple of people. In case.
I mean, Thomas Hens could possibly give some insight into the whole accident and maybe the last bit of the race where he was absolutely on fire, if he's not too busy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. We'll see who we get. If Hinsey wants an interview, then I'm sure if there's space for him, we can have one. Be a shame just to have the one interview, even though it was with someone as good as Risto Kacper. And, well, we'll just have to see if, well, Jeffrey Fournier, I've asked and he says he struggles to understand her, so, you know, if he wants, though, and we could bring him in. Well, see if he's up for it, but it's been a good season and a good race, though, Kacper.
Yeah, it was a very good race. Again, caught a bit short with the red flag, and could have been very interesting if
User disconnected from your channel.
if Risto had to, of course, drive all the way to the end with the fuel that's critical. So who knows?
Yeah, I don't think we are actually going to get anyone else, unfortunately, unless we can get Hinsey in. So it's looking like it's going to be Hinsey. But that's pretty much, you know, usually we do try and keep to the top lot of interviewees, but it would be a shame not to. Well, he was almost in the points. Do we not? I'm debating it. It would be cruel not to. It would be cruel not to.
He was showing some great pace, so.
You know, it's just a case of if he wants one, he can have one. If not, we'll just wrap it up.
Of course.
But, you know, that's pretty much how the season...
User joined your
Let's
channel.
have a look. Oh, he does want one. Well, in that case, he's here with us, Mr. Thomas Haynes.
Hey.
We're debating whether to give you an interview or not, but out of the kindness of my heart, I have, because, well, we need someone other than Risto Cabbage, even though Risto is brilliant. So, welcome to the booth, Thomas. Yeah, you did, maybe didn't score points. You had a bit of a problem at the start of the race, but you did a very good recovery drive. I'll give you that.
Yeah, well, thanks. It was frustrating. Early laps were interesting. Kind of felt like I was in a sprint race, to be honest. It was a little bit dodgy. The battling was quite interesting. But anyway, not going to go into details, even though I want to go scream at the top of my lungs. Anyway, yeah, it was all interesting early on, and then obviously Benefield had the spin. From what I understand, he just spun on his own. I couldn't really see from where I was. Tried to avoid it, but of course, my luck he happened to go my way, where I tried to dodge him, hit him, and yeah, it was just led me back to the pits and tried to hope that enough retirements would happen that I get points, which nearly did, but not quite. So promising signs, but it's a little annoying because I definitely had the pace for at least challenging top 5. So yeah, one of those races yet again.
We were looking at the end there for the last while when you were recovering, and the pace you had was absolutely brilliant. We were kind of wondering at one stage because you unlocked yourself from 2 cars battling each other at one stage. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, thanks, Kacper. The pace was all right once I got going. It was a real shame because I was really I reeled in the guys at the back end of the 10, I think. It was Jared and Mark initially, and then was reeling in Pushka and Nirajan as well, and all the guys there as well. So, yeah, pace was there, just one of those races. But I don't know, I guess I'm just that used to, obviously, Super Cup last week was not particularly fun either. And I'm at Super Cup this season's been a bit of a travesty for me. So I'm just getting used to it now. So I'm just like, well, oh well.
But it has, as much as I hate to say it, really kind of been the story of your season here in World GT, being up there and then bad luck striking. But if luck gets itself together and maybe you want to hop around and be around and race in 2017, I'm sure that there will be a seat available for you because you've shown you have talent at least. And, well, you've really found your feet off at the two, and that's something you can be proud of. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Thomas Hinds.
Thank you for having me, and good job on the broadcast, I'm sure.
Yep, very enjoyable broadcast to be part of, which unfortunately has to come to an end because that is the end of it. And, well, the end of the championship because both titles have been won. Next time around, it's pretty much who is going to win the race because it's not going to be Risto Kacper. We know that much.
At least we can fully concentrate on watching the race next time around and just see what's happened. We know that we're going to have the second winner in the season.
Only the second winner of the season, unless everyone retires and Risto Kacper just comes back from 17 laps down and wins anyway. Which, let's be honest, is the sort of thing Risto would do.
It's probably the only person that would be able to do this, yes.
But it's not over in terms of GPV shenanigans and racing. It's Hockenheim week next week because we got the German Grand Prix in Open Series, Formula Challenge, Super Cup and Super League. And straight after that, we go not far off the travelling distance to the Belgian Grand Sport Series. I even go with the Grand Sport Series there. The Circuit de Spa Francorchamps, and then it's Hungary after that. But for now, at least, it's all done and dusted until a month's time from now at the American GT Cup, where someone other than Risto Capital win for once. But until that time, I've been Josh Anderson. Kacper Kolodziejczyk has been Kacper Kolodziejczyk. Nico Hillebrand, who has not been here for the interviews, unfortunately, because he had the dash on, has been Nico Hillebrand. And from everyone in here in the broadcast booth, it's see you next time for the American GT Cup. Ciao!